I'm Anthony Wright, and I am your host, co-host, today with um, my co-host,
Adam Dietz. Welcome
and
back,
we
everyone.
are on the Living Conversation, and our guests today are the Sonoma State University Philosophy Club, and with President Colette and members Haley and Andrew. And before the break, we were talking about the Eightfold Path of the Buddha, but during our break, Andrew, you were talking a bit about using logic to engage with different domains of belief. And as Spock would say, that's fascinating.
It's fascinating. Yeah. Um, I get to expand on that for the viewers a bit. Um, I think because we are subjective beings, and so I would say that I don't believe there's any reason to believe that there is objective purpose to the universe. I believe we have to find our own subjective purposes, and nobody can determine that for us. And part of what I see as my subjective purpose is that emotions make me feel good, emotions make me feel bad. I want to seek without limiting the freedoms, etc., of other people around me. Um, to have the best emotional experiences I can. So I would like to utilize the logical part of my brain to make sure I make the right logical decisions such that um, I have the end goals of good emotional states, of promoting good emotional positivity in the world. And so in that sense, hold on, you want to restate a little bit? Because like I feel like I'm sorry, I'm losing it a little bit.
Oh no, that's quite all right. And I was just thinking about Adam. What are you remembering about from Western philosophy about the relationship of logic and emotion, and how we can uh, examine our life, right?
Yes, right. Most of my Western philosophy kind of inspiration comes from the Socratics. And I think that sometimes we can look at our emotion can be like we're in the allegory of the cave.
Oh, right.
And we're seeing our emotion and we're being so pulled and torn and captivated by it. Sometimes for many of us it's all we know. Like the shadows on the wall of the cave, it's all we know. We're constantly feeling an emotion. For others of us, it's our train of thought. It's all we know. It's the shadows on the wall. We only see our train of thought. So and others, but the point is that can be completely enslaving. We can be enslaved by it. If we in our class, we often talk about critical thinking can allow you just to think logically about your emotion and allow you to get out of the cave and see your emotion from a higher perspective, see reality that's beyond emotion. Yes, Andrew.
So you put me on track with the cave.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about like science. Science is like essentially the best tentative explanations we have so far. And so like I don't believe there's a solution to absolute knowledge. How do you know that you know to infinity, etc. Um and so as far as like emotions go, you know, I don't know, for instance, that like I will be able to fully ever solve. I don't know if it's possible to truly leave the cave, to like truly like explore um to know that you know that you've explored the entire emotion space of what is good for you. Um but I think we can do a lot to make sure that like we have the biggest possible cave possible. Does that make sense?
As long as we can be free to move around a little bit and not be stuck in chains watching shadows only.
Yeah, Haley, I also wanted to say how much I appreciated about what you said about this idea of uh, not knowing,
Yeah.
feeling comfortable and feeling okay with not knowing, because in a way, that's actually a really a gateway to um, being
Everything.
outside of thought
Yeah.
when you can hang out not knowing.
Yeah. And I think if you're, for, as I'm trying to remind myself, is like, if you're open to the not knowing, you're also open to new ideas. So
Yeah.
whether, and also relating that back to critical thinking, et cetera, all that, like if you're constantly fixed on where you should be in life or what you think is going to happen, or maybe even like what emotions you feel like you should be feeling or should be,
You should.
yeah, these should, yeah. Um, then you're just going to be comparing, your success in life or however you want to quantify your life, kind of like Andrew's, like the meaning of life, by these markers of where you think you should be going. But if you kind of just let life happen to you and try to roll with it, it's really hard, obviously. But whether it's just making a note of, okay, that's happening and that's making me feel some kind of way. Like when we go back to the emotions, I like the idea of the emotions as kind of giving us a little heads up of what logical path, because I don't see them as separate things, emotions and logic. I think it like the emotion is trying to be like, hey, this might be the right logical path. Or if you can acknowledge that your your thinking is being clouded by emotion. So you can note, hey, I'm really angry right now. So maybe whatever action I'm about to take is going to be more fueled by anger. And you can kind of, maybe you think of emotion as like a filter and you're taking away that filter. It's like, okay, now if I wasn't angry and if I can see the situation outside of myself, how would I react? So I don't think it's necessarily bad to take the emotion into consideration when you're living, because I think like we pointed out, like emotion is life, right? How we perceive things is how we perceive life.
Yeah.
And emotion is a big part of that perception. But also, if you lean too much into it, the feelings and the internal stuff, you're gonna lose track of reality. And then that gets into like, is reality, what's actually happening, what you're thinking's happening, or some combination. But if you can kind of just be aware of both sides, hopefully you can kind of come to like a consensus using both parts.
The Harvard neurophysiologist Jill Bolte Taylor talked about us as creatures who evolved, and she says we are feeling creatures who think.
Mm.
And I wondered what our world would be like if Descartes would have said, I feel, therefore I think. So, Colette, you've been very quiet. Do you have any thoughts here before we're done in about just a few minutes?
Yeah, I just want to vouch for what Haley was talking about.
Uh-huh.
I think that emotions and logic should be pretty unified, and it isn't always. And sometimes there is a ruling force in somebody, and they don't allow one or the other to be a part of it. And I think that's when it gets to be kind of dangerous for the person themselves if they don't let their emotions affect their logic, or if they don't
Oh,
let their logic affect their emotions, then like they're not going to ever feel satisfied because one end of the spectrum won't be fulfilled.
and Adam, any final thoughts before we're done in a couple of minutes here?
First, the middle way between logic and feeling. That comes to mind. That comes to mind. But also, I just want to say my biggest takeaway is I would tell this to the students often that this is philosophy. This is real philosophy. We're talking about things that
Yes.
matter for us personally,
Yes.
right? And philosophy is everywhere, actually. We all have reason and logic. We all want to hang out with reasonable people. When someone's being unreasonable, it's actually very strange. We mostly see reasonable people. We're part of this living conversation right now together, right? But the living conversation is everywhere. Everyone wants to be reasonable all the time. If someone's being weird or cringy, your BS meter goes through the roof. And it's actually very strange. What's normal and what's humane is that we are reasonable and we try to get along and we try to be loyal to ourselves and empathize with others. That's common, that's ordinary, and that's everywhere. So I'm just really thrilled that you guys were here and we had this conversation just to be another example of how philosophy is everywhere. And good philosophy is meant to be in our lives. Good philosophy is meant to deal with things that are deeply personal, like emotion and logic. How do I live? How do I live well?
Yeah, I think philosophy is the most important thing that anybody could ever engage with in any kind of education. And so maybe you've heard the philosophy program got cut from Sonoma State, and we are actively working to bring it back. So we need all the support. Everybody reach out, tell every person in charge that you know, email everyone, tell them we want philosophy back at Sonoma State.
Love it, love it.
And it was actually the founding department of the academy.
Yeah, the
university
model goes all the way back to Plato.
And the PhD is a philosopher in XYZ.
Right.
Whatever it is. So
you arguably cannot have a school without philosophy.
Oh, and that's their philosophy now. What a curious thing. I'm so grateful you guys were able to come, and I hope you guys will come back in greater numbers, and even with the director of the writing department, Sakane Gerhard, but we'll make a time and a place for that to happen. So we're about out of time here. I'm Anthony Wright, and I'm your co-host today on the Living Conversation with...
And I'm Adam Dietz.
And we are here with our guests, Colette and Haley and Andrew from the Sonoma State University Philosophy Club. And how can people contact you guys, Colette?
Yeah, so we have an Instagram, just SSU Philosophy Club. Please reach out with any questions, and we would love all the help we can get to save philosophy at Sonoma State University.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And Adam.
Oh, I just want to pitch to all the listeners and viewers out there that please reach out to us, because you see that the conversation is vibrant, and we want to continue to expand it just because it's so great to hear different perspectives. Just as another great example of it today. So you please reach out at dietzadam@gmail, DIETZ@gmail, or you can also find all my links on the way between at substack.com to reach out, and whatever your favorite platform is. You can find the Living Conversation on YouTube, Spotify. So just feel free to reach out any way that feels comfortable to you. Thank you.
Great. And I'm Anthony Wright, and my website is theonaut, theonaut.com. I'm not an astronaut, I'm a theonaut. So that's all for today. Thanks so much for listening, you guys, and watching, and then we'll see you next time.